Hi and welcome to Business Financial Planner. My name is Tom, and in this screencast I'll be showing you how to put together a basic financial plan with a fully integrated set of pro forma financial documents. The plan we'll be putting together is for Ergo Furniture, a fictitious importer. As a new venture, they're planning to offer ergonomic office furniture. In this presentation, we'll be using the Easy Start wizard to guide us through the various steps of putting together the plan. So let's begin. Every plan starts off with entering the general data. Since we're starting a new plan, we need to give the plan a name and then save it. The wizard will then ask for some general information about the plan, including the name of the plan, the name of the company and the person building the plan, as well as the currency the plan will use. Next, we'll need to decide whether to build our sales projections using units or cash. For this demonstration, we'll be using units. Continuing with the plan setup information, we'll enter the number of years for the plan, in this case only 2. Finally, we will select the period type. In this example, we will be planning on a quarterly basis for both years. Now that we're done with the general setup, it's time to move on to the sales forecast. The first step in this stage is to define the products that we'll be selling, as well as their costs. For the initial launch, we'll be offering 2 products, an executive chair and an executive desk. We'll be sourcing these overseas and paying an all-in delivered cost per item. It's therefore not necessary to specify labor and material costs separately, but simply enter the all-in cost in the other cost column. Of course, in your business, if you're manufacturing or assembling products, you can break the different cost elements out separately. Next, we need to define the markets which we'll be selling into. For the initial 2-year plan, we're going to focus on the East Coast retail accounts only. Clicking on Next takes us to the main sales plan entry screen. You'll see on the left that the sales plan is being entered per market. In our case, only East Coast retail. In the Sales Plan tab, we need to first enter the payment terms we'll offer to customers, which will affect the cash flow statement, and then the sales price per product. Now we enter the quantity of units projected per quarter. To save time in entering this, in each period, we will use the Copy Cell Across Next Periods function. We enter the sales projections in units for the first period, and then select the rest of the fields we want to copy the value across. In our plan, we assume a 5% increase per quarter in sales over the first year, but in the second year, 2010, we assume an increase to 200 units for the chair and 240 units for the desk in the first quarter, and then a 10% increase per quarter for the subsequent periods of the year. In just 3 minutes, we've completed the sales plan, and the system can now calculate an initial set of integrated financial documents, which will be based on the information we've entered up until this point. We start with the P&L statement. You'll note that the gross and net profit numbers in the P&L statement are the same, since we have not yet entered any of the operating expenses into the plan. This is what we'll be doing next. Following the P&L, the system calculates an initial cash flow statement and balance sheet. Now that we're finished with the sales forecast, we're going to move on to planning our operating expenses. The first step in this process is to enter the operating departments. These will usually be taken from your GL accounts. In our plan, we have a sales department and a G&A department. For each department displayed on the left, we will need to enter up to 3 different types of expenses: fixed, variable, and personnel. In our sales department, there are no fixed expenses. However, there is a personnel expense in the form of a sales manager. We enter his annual salary and social benefits, and then the headcount per quarter. For our initial 2-year plan, this headcount will stay at a constant level of 1 employee throughout. Once again, we will use the Copy Across Periods function to input this information. There is also a variable cost in commissions paid to the sales manager. The commission can be set based on a variety of parameters. In this example, we will define it as a percentage of sales for our main market. This will then be set at a flat rate of 5% across all periods of the plan. Moving on to the G&A department, we have all 3 types of expenses to enter. Fixed expenses for our new venture are made up of rent and utilities. Since this venture will be using the office of the parent company, this cost will be allocated to the venture at a fixed rate of $1,200 per quarter over the period of the plan. Variable expenses come in the form of delivery costs. Once again, these can be defined based on a variety of parameters. We will use direct cost of goods as a base and set the delivery at a rate of 5% of costs during the first year, and then, due to an increased volume of shipment, we plan to negotiate the cost down to 4.5% in the second year. Finally, the personnel costs are for an office manager who has a salary of $18,000 a year and social benefits of 1.5%. Again, there will be no changes to the headcount for this expense, staying at 1 employee throughout the entire period of the plan. Okay, we're done. The system will now calculate a second set of financial reports, this time including the expenses to give a more complete picture of the planned venture. Look at that. In less than 7 minutes, Business Financial Planner has given Ergo Furniture an in-depth business and financial plan for their new office furniture venture. More than that, they've been able to obtain a full set of integrated financial documents to help analyze the risks and opportunities in undertaking the business. In our next screencast, we're going to look at how to analyze these documents and the plan in general using Business Financial Planner's advanced analytic tools. I hope this presentation has been helpful. Feel free to contact us if you need any more assistance.